Hey everybody, give me just a second to get going here. I want to put the link up on Twitter, which is the one place this doesn't go naturally. So you're going to hear a recording of myself in just a second. And yep, see, you're hearing me. Which is all right. So let me throw that up on Twitter real quick. Falcon. Pre-show time for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And link. And we are golden. All right, folks, how are you doing this evening? It is Thursday night. We are just about 5 hours away from the second episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let me just change that lighting a little bit. Don't want to glare too much. Okay, so second episode of the Falcon Winter Soldier will be debuting in about 5 hours. If you're on the East Coast, that's 3 a.m., so you're probably going to be asleep. If you're on the West Coast, that's midnight, so you might be like me and staying up to watch because, well, we love these shows and we want to watch. You'll notice that I've added the canvas print for the Falcon and Winter Soldier. This will reside up here as long as the show's on, and then I'll probably swap out to whatever the next thing is. Either the Bad Batch or Loki or whatever's going to happen. But before we get into the latest episode and catching you up on last week, I am going to hit the news. That's right. Some interesting stuff popped up. One of my personal favorite things, let me get that up on the screen here. Always more fun when I can add an image. So that's right. The big news of the week, well, one of the big news, at least for me, is Pierce Brosnan has been cast as Kent Nelson, also known as Dr. Fate, in the upcoming Black Adam movie. Now, if you're not familiar with Black Adam, that is a character tied to the Shazam franchise. If you've seen the Shazam movie, you'll notice at the end when the whole family is sitting around in chairs, there's one open chair. That's Black Adam's chair. He's a character who's been around since ancient Egypt. He was a slave. He is a savior of his people. It's a huge story, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And, of course, it stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who already, I think, is perfect casting for that, for Black Adam. There's been some other casting as well, like Aldous Hodge, who is going to play Hawkman. Now, I'm a huge Aldous Hodge fan from when he was on Leverage, so I was really excited to see that casting. But this, Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, I absolutely love this casting. I mean, great actor, great action guy, was a wonderful James Bond, and loved him as Remington Steele, grew up with him as Remington Steele. I cannot wait to see him as Dr. Fate. I think that is inspired casting. And when I saw that, I thought it was a joke because it was just too good to be true. So I am very happy to see the casting of Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. Now, the other big news, another huge actress being brought into the DCU is Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren has been cast as a new character, one that I'm not familiar with in the DCU. I don't believe she's actually in the DC Comics. Her name is Hespera, and she is supposed to be the daughter of Atlas, who is one of the A's in Shazam's name. Now, Atlas has always been kind of a gray character. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad, depending on the story. So, and Hespera is, I believe, is supposed to be a villainous character in the upcoming Shazam Fury of the Gods movie. But what's interesting is the announcement has both her and an actress named Rachel Zegler playing the same character. So it might be that's, her at one age, her at another age. I don't know, but I love bringing in another great actor, Helen Mirren, into the into the DCEU. So now you've got Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan both in the Shazam franchise, basically, because Black Adam is part of the Shazam franchise. So I love that. Another bit of casting news for the DCU is Billy Crudup had to step away from The Flash He was playing Harry Allen. We probably just saw him in the Snyder Cut if you watched it. Well, he had to step away from the upcoming Flashpoint movie, but they've cast Ron Livingston to replace him. Now, it's a small enough character. I don't think it's going to affect much. Billy Crudup is a great actor. Ron Livingston's a great actor. So I think it's going to be kind of a push. I don't think it's going to really throw off people too much. Like I said, there isn't a whole lot of Henry Allen in the previous stuff. So there's a good chance most people won't even notice. They'll just go, oh, that's his dad. Okay. They've recast Henry Allen. Recasting's all the rage now. So, and of course, I'm only going to touch on this one briefly. Wallace Day has been cast to replace Ruby Rose as Kate Kane in Batwoman. Now, the series started up season 2 with Javicia Leslie as a new character playing in the spot of Batwoman, but Kate Kane was missing in a mystery. Now, I've got a video out there how I think I might have helped Wallace Day get the role, at least when Ruby Rose stepped away. I pointed out to Wallace on Twitter, and Wallace responded that would be a dream job, and it got picked up by a bunch of social media networks and entertainment sites and stuff, and it got big buzz, and now she's the character. So do I think I really had a big note? No, but it's kind of a fun story. So if you want to check that out, that's on my YouTube channel, Dan Wickline 1 over on YouTube. Check it out, along with all the other videos I do, all the live stuff I do gets logged on YouTube. So if you miss anything live on Facebook, you can go over to YouTube. And while you're there, please hit the like and subscribe button. So if you're on Facebook right now, you're watching, if you're on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, well, hit the like buttons there too, or the subscribe buttons there. I could use all the followers I can get. So, all right, we're going to move on here. And we're going to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2. Now, some things that from episode 1 you might have missed. First thing is this guy here. Danny Ramirez plays Joaquin Torres. Now, when it came up, I didn't recognize the name. It didn't click for me. And I'll admit that I've been kind of in and out on Marvel Comics the last few years. I am good with the older stuff up to maybe last 5-10 years. Some of the more recent stuff I'm a little sketchy on. Danny Ramirez, Joaquin Torres, his character was one of those I was not familiar with. Now, he plays in the comics, is a character that gets experimented on by Dr. Carl Mullis. Now, you might have heard me mention Carl Mullis before. Carl Mullis and the Power Broker are two people that in the comics gave John Walker his enhanced strength, his super soldier serum, basically. I think he's going to play a huge part in this, partly because it follows in the comics. And also, the Flag Smasher is part of that line. And my guess is that there's going to be like a black market super soldier serum created by Carl Mullis, and he's making it for the government. They give it to, they give it to John Walker, and he also sells it in the black market. I think that's going to be a major part of the plot. No guarantees, but the name Power Broker is in the closing credits. When you look at all the graffiti art, that is one of the things written up there the Power Broker is watching. So keep an eye out for the Power Broker and Carl Mullis. And keep an eye on this guy, because after Mullis experiments on him, combining his DNA with the live version of Red Wing, in the comics, Red Wing is not a drone, he's an actual Falcon. So they combine the DNA, and this guy ends up being like a hybrid Birdman and becomes the new Falcon when Sam Wilson becomes the new Captain America. So you're looking at the second Falcon in the comics right there. So the odds are this is not a throwaway character. This isn't a one and done. I thought he might have gotten killed by the Flag Smashers last episode. No, I don't think they're going to kill him. I think they're going to keep him around. And don't be surprised if at some point in the series, he doesn't end up wearing a wingsuit, whether it's Sam's, whether he gets a new one, because you got to believe that the Air Force is looking at Sam Wilson in that wingsuit and going, hey, we made one of these before, right? The one he started with was ours. Yeah, it's got Stark Tech now, but it was started with one of ours, so maybe we should make some more. So don't be surprised if Torres ends up in a wingsuit, or that he just gets to be a bigger and bigger character as he goes along. I would be really surprised if anything seriously bad happens to him. He's already gotten his butt kicked once by an enhanced Flag Smasher. So we'll see how that goes. Next up on the story, now you might recognize this gentleman here. This is Carl Lumley. Carl's been around for a lot of years. He's been in the superhero genre, having played the voice of John Jones on the Justice League animated series. He played Myron Jones, the father of John Jones, on the Supergirl series on the CW just recently. And he also debuted years ago in a TV, I believe it was a one-season TV series called Mantis, where he played a costume hero. Now, there had been rumors for a long time that Lumley had been cast as Isaiah Bradley. And Isaiah is a huge part of the Captain America mythos, being the original Captain America. And, what's Andrew say? The Air Force made 2 prior to see. That's right. Sam's wingman, Riley, who didn't make it. So I'm sure we're going to get something with Riley, and there's going to be talk about that. I wouldn't be surprised if Riley doesn't come up in that. So, but I do expect to see Torres in a wingsuit. So Isaiah Bradley was the original Captain America. Now, before I go too much into this, you're thinking, well, it's a rumor that Carl Lumley is going to be in the show, right? Why would I go on to it? Because I said I wouldn't delve too much into just rumors until there was some basis to it. Well, guess what, folks? In the closing credits, that image is showed. You see subject 07656, and that face is clearly Carl Lumley. So unless this is all they're doing is showing him in the background, there's a good chance he's going to pop up here. Now, Isaiah Bradley was one of 300 African-American soldiers used as test subjects for Project Rebirth. That's the original name of the super soldier serum for Captain America. And they were trying to recreate that serum. And Bradley was the only one that survived. And he was given, he got the powers and stuff, and he was given certain missions. And he came up with one where he was sent to Europe to take out a doctor, kill somebody, an assassination. And he decided to take a Captain America costume and shield with him and actually be Captain America over in Europe, where he got captured by German soldiers at some point, rescued by freedom fighters, and came back. And when he came back, the military said, well, posing as Captain America is treasonous. And they threw him in prison for 17 years. Yep. So he spent 17 years in prison and he came out. And the other big thing about Bradley is that his grandson is Eli Bradley, who ends up being the character Patriot as part of the Young Avengers. And we know that there's been a lot of world building towards the Young Avengers. Now, there's no announcement that there's going to be a Young Avengers. There's no guarantee, but they bring in a lot of the Young Avengers characters in through these. Kate Bishop, Ant-Man's daughter statue, Cassie Lang. You've got Wiccan and Speed from WandaVision, the twins. So Eli Bradley would be another one, and they seem to be building towards that. So will they keep doing that? We'll see, but there's been no announcement, so let's not count that as fact. Now, going on here, so keep an eye out for Isaiah Bradley. I could see him playing into Sam's decision to eventually take on the shield and take up the mantle of Captain America. All right, got to talk about him. John Walker. Is he there? He's there. John Walker. Now, first thing, John Walker from the comics is... all right, I got to say it. Is there a more punchable face in the world? I mean, come on. When they winks at the camera, the way they built the helmet, you can't tell me they couldn't have made the helmet a little better, a little more heroic looking. It's almost like they want us to hate this guy. Because he definitely doesn't wear it like Chris Evans does. He doesn't look heroic as Steve Rogers does. He looks kind of goofy and you're supposed to not like him. That's the whole point. He's a Captain America. In the comics, he gets the super soldier serum or the enhancement from Carl Mullis, and along with a bunch of wrestlers who are creating this Ultimate Wrestling League. I don't think we're going to get the wrestlers, but I think that's going to tie into the Flag Smashers. But he's created, and takes on the persona of patriot, and he builds up his, or super patriot, and he builds up his audience through rallies and fake fights. Basically, he'd have guys attack him at the rallies dressed as Captain America supporters, and he would beat the crap out of them and go on. And basically, he built it up to the point where Captain America eventually had to confront him. And then when Cap decides to put the shield down because he thinks the U.S. government is jerking him around, and he becomes the captain instead, they give it to John Walker. They pass up the Falcon because they're like, no, we don't believe that America's ready for a black Captain America. Yeah, that's in the comic, literally in the comic. But they hand it over to John Walker, this basically right-wing conservative, ultra-aggressive captain, guy, and he becomes Captain America. And okay, I'm going to get to this in just a second, but it might be me, but I didn't recognize Wyatt Russell with that helmet on. But that is a punch. Yes, it is definitely a punchable face. Now, I'm going to get to Wyatt Russell in just a second because I think we need to get to Wyatt Russell. But he, at the heart of the character of John Walker, he is a hero. And we have to keep that in mind because he eventually does become a different character in the Marvel Universe. He becomes U.S. agent. Part of the problem is that the serum that he gets to enhance him increases his aggression and rage. It's like roid rage almost. It's like steroid rage. So he gets overzealous. But the other thing to keep in mind is that he is trying to do good. He doesn't like go out and become a bad guy. The problem in the comics is he goes out and becomes too aggressive as Captain America. He's like, if you've read the Nightfall for Batman, he's Azrael, where he's beating the crap out of people and actually killing people. And, if you saw, he's got a gun on his hip, and Captain America hasn't used a gun since World War II. Since the war is over, he's put the gun down and just uses the shield. So now talking about Wyatt. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about Wyatt is, now look at this guy here. First thing, that's not a punchable face. That looks like a very nice, handsome gentleman. Might need a little grooming tips, but he's the son of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. He's probably a very nice guy. So let's remember to take our anger, aggression that we have towards that Captain America and leave it with that Captain America and not with Wyatt Russell. Let's not say all these nasty things I've been hearing about the guy and how ugly. I mean, I've heard people calling him ugly and all this other stuff. And no, it's just we want Chris Evans. We love Chris Evans as Captain America. And to see someone else in the costume is shocking. But there's a person, there's an actor behind that. So let's just calm that down a little bit. But God, that was a punchable face. I mean, let's go back here for a second. Look at that. That is punchable as hell, ain't it? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to move on here to the Flag Smashers. Now, the Flag Smashers are, in the comics, it's a single person. It's Carl Morgenthau. Morgenthau. It's a weird last name. It's not one I'm familiar with. Carl Morgenthau. And he works with a group called Ultimatum, which I don't remember the acronym, but it's something silly. I mean, the word totally, the T means totally. So they dropped not only the acronym, but they just dropped the word ultimatum, and they turned Flag Smasher into Flag Smashers, which I'm fine with. And they gender flip because the main character is now Carly Morgenthau, and she's played by Erin Kellyman. Now, you might recognize Erin from Solo, a Star Wars story. That kind of flips around. I always want to say Star Wars first. But Solo, a Star Wars story, where she played Enfys Nest. That's another tough name, Enfys. But so she is the head of the Flag Smashers. She's the one that was wearing the mask and handing them out. And it looks like in the previews for the trailers for the other episodes that she's going to be enhanced as well. Now, I think their enhancement is going to come from the black market version of the same stuff that John Walker gets, and I think that's going to be the Carl Mullis. Now, I don't know if Carl Mullis is going to show up, if they're going to use the Power Broker name, because they are separate in the comics. But Carl Mullis has also popped up in the Jessica Jones series. he was the doctor that experimented on Jessica's mother. So I don't know if they will use that name. They might change the name, but it's always been Carl Mullis. He's experimented on a lot of characters as well, besides the second Falcon, the Armadillo, which, oh God, I would love to see a live-action Armadillo. Seriously. You guys, I forgot. I didn't even grab a picture of him because he's so outrageously amazing. But it would be awesome to see a live-action Armadillo. But I digress. So I think that the plot is going to be, there's going to be a black market version, and that's how Sam and Bucky are going to get involved. And it's probably how they get Zemo involved too. Like they need him to guide them through Madripoor, where the black market stuff probably is. That's my prediction for the series. That's my expectations. But again, we'll see how that works. But she's the head of the Flag Smashers, and I think we're going to get a lot more. And I think they're going to play the Flag Smashers as a very interesting characters. They're not going to be just bad guys in black hats. They're going to you're going to kind of understand them. And that's kind of been the way that Marvel's been going over the years. They've been making more and more relatable villains. I mean, look at Killmonger from the Black Panther series. I think we're going to get that here too. This is a group that doesn't want nations, want everybody to be together, connected, and not separated by nations, which you can kind of get with, but they're doing terrorist activities, which is nene bad. So we'll have to see how that works out. Oh, Andrew popped up again. Let's see. Andrew says, yeah, not the actor, but the helmet and the face put together equals very punchable. It is. Then we're still talking about Wyatt Russell and John Walker. Nobody is wanting to punch Erin Kellyman. She's a very sweet-looking woman. So let's not confuse that at all, right? Okay. So that's the Flag Smashers, and like I said, and I think we're going to get a lot more of that. Now, what else am I got here? Let's talk about Sam. Now, we get very obviously in the first episode that Sam is not ready to be Captain America. He doesn't see anybody being able to step up to fill Steve's shoes. He idolized Steve. So that ending moment where he's already had all this bad stuff happen, where he's turned down for a loan, even though he's risked his life and lost 5 years and all this other stuff for the world, and they won't even give him a loan. So he comes back and he's seeing that his buddy's getting beat up by this terrorist organization. And suddenly the shield that he turned over to the museum is being given to this extremely punchable looking Captain America replacement who's carrying a gun. You see the look on Sam's face. He is angry and heartbroken at the same time. He regrets giving the shield over right then. You can see it. And that's going to be the basis for this whole story. His whole arc is to take him from where he cannot see himself stepping into his idol's shoes to where he will be wielding the shield. And we know that because in the trailer, we see him throwing the shield around and carrying it when he's talking to Bucky. And unless that's flashbacks, he doesn't have the shield right now. So he's going to have to get it back from Walker. So expect that to be coming up. I don't think I don't think he's going to get the shield quickly. It's probably not going to, then again, this is my prediction. I don't know anything specifically, but I don't think he's going to get the shield like that. I think it's going to be something that he's going to have to get back up to. I think he's going to leave Walker alone at first. He made his decision. He has to deal with it. And I think he and Bucky are going to do their thing. And eventually it'll tie back into Walker. And then we'll have to be. So I have a feeling the training sequence and them standing together is nearer the end of the series than it is the beginning. But I could be completely wrong. Trust me. After WandaVision, me being completely wrong, it happens. Now, Bucky. Wow, Buck. Sebastian Stan is just nailing it already. We're seeing it. But Bucky is probably in the worst place of anybody in this series. if you think about it, there was only one person left alive that knew him before he got messed with by Hydra. Before Arnim Zola messed with his mind and his body and everything else. Before he became a brainwashed killing machine. The fact that he was a soldier and a friend and all this good stuff that is Bucky, that was only remembered by Steve Rogers. And now Steve, we're not sure exactly if he's dead or just, on the moon. But he's gone. He doesn't have him there. So it's one thing when you're with a person that knows you, it's completely different when nobody knows the real you and they look at you and they think that you're that killer, that guy. And that's what Bucky's trying to deal with. He really doesn't have any friends. I mean, Sam isn't really a friend. Sam's somebody that he tried to kill. He ripped off the wing from the wingsuit and threw him off the helicarrier and tried to kill Sam. I wouldn't get over that pretty easily. I mean, sure, he's brainwashed, but you'd keep an eye on him, wouldn't you? It'd be a long time before you feel safe around the guy. So I get where Bucky's coming from here, and I think this is going to be the heart-wrenching story arc here. I think Sam's is going to be more global in the sense of, not global, but the essence of a black man rising up in America and getting, all the things that are against him. That's going to be Sam's story arc, where Bucky's is going to be more personal in the sense that just finding out who he is again. Well, maybe Sam's is that too in a way. So I don't want to downplay Sam's at all, but I think Bucky's is going to be more intimate, personal, where Sam's will be more recognizable by more people who have to deal with similar problems. I hope that sounds right. I hope that comes across right. What you got, Andrew? Bucky's life sucks, but the date was excellent and sad all at once. I got to tell you, I would love that kind of date. I mean, that looked fun to me, to do a board game. The worst idea in the world to me is to go on a date at a movie. You go to a movie and you sit there for 2 hours staring at a screen, watching other people talk. You don't talk to the person you're with. You're not supposed to. People get pissed if you talk in a movie theater. So why would you take the biggest chunk and go to a movie or a concert? The first date should be something where you're talking. So I love that that's what she came up with, that he came to her work. They're in a comfortable place where she can get up and get what they want. They don't have a time limit. They can do whatever they want. And they have all the beer they need. And they can play Battleship and just talk. That sounds like a perfect first date to me. But then again, I'm probably as old as Bucky at this point. Don't I look 106? So, yeah. By the way, ladies, I am single. So if you want to get together for beer and Battleship. All right. Let's move on here. Let's talk about what I expect to see tonight. Kind of all over the place on this. I expect that with the first episode kind of being a lot of setup, I expect we're going to get a lot of buildup in this one. I think things are going to really start moving forward. Thank you, Andrew. Andrew says that I don't look a day over 75. And he says he's 106. All right. It's just me, man. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. So get back on my track on what I expect to see tonight. I think we're going to get more of the Flag Smashers. I think they're going to escalate, and it's going to do something where bringing in Falcon is going to be important, and maybe bringing in, Bucky. And I think we're going to finally get them together. I mean, because we spent the whole first episode without them seeing each other. So I think being that the show is called Falcon and Winter Soldier, we kind of need for them to be together. So I expect them to get together in this episode. I was fine with them in the first episode not getting together because he gets a chance to build their individual lives. But I think at some point, maybe at least halfway through the second episode, you need to get them back together. I think, like I said, we're going to get you a lot more with the Flag Smashers. I expect them to escalate, and we're probably going to get more with John Walker. Just the tease at the end there, I expect we're going to get some backstory on John Walker, and we're going to get some stuff where we actually like him. I don't expect them to make him a black hat. I think we're going to get his background, the fact in the comics, he's the son of a war hero. He's the brother of a war hero. And when he signed up to go to war, it was pretty much nothing happened. He didn't get a chance to be a hero. But when he came back, he got this opportunity to get enhanced, and he took it. So I expect it to be something like that, where you kind of feel for the guy, and they're going to give him a backstory, and we'll see him in action. It might just be the rally. It might be a rally that gets attacked, and he takes them on. So you kind of, I have a feeling they're going to play with us, and we're going to get to the point where we almost like John Walker, which is fine. We probably probably will like John Walker at some point and feel sorry for him if it is the serum or the enhancement that's causing him to be overly aggressive. We'll see. I think at his heart, he wants to be a good Captain America, and I think they'll start building towards that tonight. I think by the end of the episode, we're going to get teased Zemo. I don't think we'll get Zemo yet. I don't think we'll get Sharon Carter yet. Again, I could be completely wrong, but this is the first act. So by the end of it is when you start changing things. So this is still part of the buildup. So I think they need to build up the Flag Smashers more. I think they need to build up the new Captain America more. And they need to bring Bucky and Sam together. Then by the end, you tease Zemo. And I don't think we get Sharon Carter until maybe the third or fourth episode, maybe the fourth. It may be that far. But again, that's my gut. It's not based on any kind of facts. And it's kind of looking at the trailer stuff too. We got a lot of footage without Sharon. We got a lot of footage of, building up to it. So I think we're going to get a lot more story build up in this one. Like I said, with the antagonists at this point, with the John Walker and the Flag Smashers, and we'll get Sam and Bucky back together before we start bringing in Zemo and Sharon Carter. I think we need to build up these other characters. Zemo and Carter are known entities, so they don't need that much build-up. These Flag Smashers and John Walker do. Plus, we still have the possibility of John Walker having a sidekick. Clay, cannot remember his name. There's an actor. It's supposedly cast as Battlestar, who from the comics was that Captain America's sidekick instead of Bucky. But yeah, Andrew says he bets Sharon Carter doesn't show up till around the highway fight. That makes a lot of sense, and I think the highway fight isn't going to be until the third episode at the earliest. I don't think we're going to get, I think this is going to be a slow build. I think there's still a lot more to build up on those characters. I think there's going to need to be some major. Right now, the Flag Smashers look like they're enhanced and they did a bank robbery. I think they need to do something terrorist revolved. Some people need to die before Bucky and Sam are going to be called in. And I think we need to build up John Walker a lot. So that's what I expect to see tonight in, let's see, it's 4.5 hours. So anybody staying up and watching compared to going to, catching it first thing in the morning before work? And anybody just kind of waits and sees it whenever? I am not that wait and see it whenever. If I'm dead tired, I might wait till the next morning. Not likely. I'm going to probably stay up and watch it. That way, when I get up in the morning, I can watch it again, and then I can come on and I can review it. So, all right, guys. Brian, I am glad you made the live one. Good to see you. So that's going to be the regular time slot for the pre-show. It's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific on Thursday nights, just 5 hours before the broadcast. And Sunday night, we will be back to talk about the episode. I will do a review tomorrow morning, and then we'll be back Sunday night with the next Pop Go the Writers with our guest Terry and Tom Hodges and his wife Terry, along with my co-host Paul Story and Andrew, who is in the chat tonight, will be joining us in April. So he'll be for the 4th episode, I believe. I'll have to double check. And I'm still working out who's going to come in on the other episodes as my guests. But I'm going to try to keep it to 3 people, though Tom and Terry will be 4, make it 4. But, husband and wife team, you can make an exception. All right, guys. And if you are a fan of the series, you'll note that Sideshow has released a pre-order for a new Winter Soldier figure based off of the outfit you see here in the picture. What they have not done is released a new Sam figure. Now, my guess is because he's going to get a costume change later in the series. Maybe something a little more blue in it, and red, and white, and a star and a shield. Just a thought. Though I do dig this costume. It reminds me a lot of the actual comic costume. It's probably my favorite so far. So, all right, guys, I am going to wrap it up. These are only supposed to be about a half hour, so I'm a little over. But unless you guys have any last-minute questions, then I am going to relax a bit and get ready to watch. I may even try to watch Captain America Civil War before the episode tonight. Andrew says, side note, Falcon and Winter Soldier figures in Hasbro Marvel Legends has started to leak. Oh, really? Any surprises, Andrew? I assume there'll be Falcon, Winter Soldier, Zemo, Agent Carter, maybe a Flag Smasher. Maybe War Machine? I guess we didn't actually get War Machine. U.S. Agent. Yeah, Brian suggests U.S. Agent. Yeah, we definitely need that costume. So now I wonder if he's going to keep that costume at the end as U.S. Agent. Yeah, Andrew does say that there is a Walker figure along with Winter Soldier, Falcon, Zemo. So that's what they've seen so far. Okay. Yeah, there has to be a John Walker Captain America figure. But I'm curious if he's going to keep that specific costume if he does turn into U.S. Agent at the end, or if they'll do what they did in the comics and he wears a black version of that where the blue becomes black. Because I think it's a decent looking costume. Maybe if they redid the helmet, made him a little less punchable. But I think that in black would look really cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. Do they call him U.S. Agent in the Toy League? That's curious. Interesting. I'm going to have to look that up because they call him the new Captain America. They say Cap is back on all the posters, so he's not U.S. Agent yet. Okay, so they do call him U.S. Agent. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, Brian says yes. So, okay. Andrew only saw them briefly, but he was going to try to. But Brian says they do call him U.S. Agent. All right, good to know. So that does seem to be where he's going in this, and it would make sense. I mean, I don't think they're going to, Wyatt Russell's a good actor, so I don't think they're just going to use him a one and done. I expect us to have a U.S. Agent at the end of this, and he'll get his own version of a shield and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It was on John. Oh, okay. It was on John Campea earlier. Yeah, I like John Campea's show. I've been watching it lately. I hadn't heard of him before. It's kind of a new thing for me to pick up on. I try to pick up some of the other channels and stuff, or the other people that do the shows, and I'm impressed by him. He does a lot of good stuff. He can be a little cocky sometimes, but overall, I really like him. So he's good background noise. I put him on and listen to him while I work. So I do like John Campea, but I missed part of his show today. Interesting Zemo reveal. What do we got here? I don't think I can click on the link in here. I'll have to do that later on. So I'll take a look at that after I do the broadcast. But I will definitely check that out. I'm looking forward to seeing Daniel Bruhl in the mask and moving around as Zemo. Zemo. I do love the fact that we are so inundated with Captain America villains in this, because this is something I was thinking of the other day. We were looking at best rogues galleries. Flash has a great rogues gallery. Batman has a great rogues gallery. Spider-Man has a great rogues gallery. But what's the next one? And I wouldn't have said Captain America, but you look at the MCU and there's so many of Captain America's villains that are popping up all over the place. We've got Zemo. We've had Von Strucker. We've had Von Strucker's kids. We've had Batroc. We've had Arnim Zola. We've had Red Skull. Dr. Faustus popped up in the Agent Carter series. There's just been a lot of Captain America villains. Crossbones. I don't know who Taskmaster counts as for who he's the villain of. I always thought of him as Captain America's villain, but I guess he's kind of more of a all over the place. But it does seem that Captain America has a lot of villains that are popping up in the MCU. I don't know if that would make him the fourth on that list of great rogues galleries, but maybe. I know a lot of other Marvel characters do not have good rogues galleries. I mean, I think we've already tapped out on all of Iron Man's. So, all right. Now I'm just vamping. So I'm going to get going. And I will check that link, Andrew. Thank you. Andrew, Brian, thanks for chiming in here. I will be back tomorrow morning. Everybody have a great night. Enjoy the episode. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.